How's it going? Thralls Metal here again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we're here to talk about Day 3 of the Maryland Deathfest 2019. Our first year. Holy shit. Still excited about it.
Still, it hasn't worn off. Again, we've been home quite a few days now, and it hasn't worn off at all. I think about it every day. I think about it when I get up. And I think, like, man, I gotta get up and go to work. This fucking sucks.
Or they get up and fucking watch death metal bands for 10 hours.
Right. Like, stupid. I wish I was there.
So, we started off this day a little bit earlier. Decided to take in a little bit of Baltimore, this old fucking town full of all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, the Airbnb we were in was an old carriage house. We're guessing from the early 1800s,
Maybe
if not
late 1700s.
Yeah, it's we were definitely in like an old school, original 13 colonies neighborhood, which is really cool.
Fells Point.
Yeah, Fells Point. Yep. If you're ever out there, stay in Fells Point, man. We had a great time.
Pretty cool.
Within a couple miles, I'd say, of where our place was, there was quite an actual lot to do. You could go down on the docks, and there were a bunch of old stores,
eateries.
One of which there was a newer record shop. What was that called?
Soundgarden. I distinctly remember that name. Yeah, they had a pretty solid metal selection and went through and purchased a lot of shit, which I'll go over in a collection update because there was a lot. Checked out another area of town. What the hell?
Yeah,
was
so
the name
upon
of it?
leaving that record store, the guy working there recommended another record store across town. I believe it was in Camden. I looked in that area. I believe it was in Camden because we passed it going from the airport. So anyway, do you remember what that place was called?
Oh, fuck. Something like Summertime.
Summer something?
Shit.
We'll put a link in.
We'll put a link in if we remember it. It was a really cool record store. Unfortunately, it only sold vinyl. I'm a CD collector, as you can tell. But it was cool seeing all the stuff. This guy actually had, like, Slayer was there back in the 80s.
Yeah,
had
Metallica was there, had a bunch of old, like, signed photos and a bunch of old, like, tour posters and shit. It was really neat.
Yeah, Black Flag, Bad Brains, like, you know, it was really interesting. And the guy seemed super knowledgeable, and he even was going to Maryland Deathfest.
Yeah, the owner was there, and he was like, well, I'm going to try to get out of here and catch, Benediction, I think he said?
I think he said Benediction. I think he wanted to see DRI, too.
Yep. He was like, we're going to get out of here. But, so we ended up walking around from there. We had a good amount of time to kill. We had a couple hours. So we ended up walking from there and seeing what was in town. And, John...
Oh, yeah,
Waters,
John. We found John Waters, of course, very famous director, known for Baltimore, and known for his subversive, awesome fucking movies, Pink Flamingos, Hairspray, whatever.
There was a giant, like, 15, 20-foot tall flamingo on the front of the building.
Yeah, there was a restaurant that has a giant flamingo on it, and John Waters likes to have lunch there.
Hang out there, yeah. We didn't stop in.
I mean, it would have been cool to run into him, because, I mean, I fucking love Serial Mom and Cecil B. Demented. But we did find something else interesting.
Very interesting. If you like to collect...
oddities?
Really, really odd things. It was called Bazaar. It's on Chestnut Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like that, ever.
So if you're in the market for, say, an entire fox fetus in a jar, or a turkey head in a jar, or a box full of used speculums from whenever.
Or
raccoon penis bones.
Yeah, raccoon penis bones. There were embalmed animals. There were taxidermy things of animals. Voodoo. What was
shrunken heads?
The weird, the shrunken heads. The weird, odd-smelling candles.
Yeah, those.
One was like cemetery. And then there was a box that we didn't open, but I had to take a picture.
We were allowed to open it.
We were, yeah.
But
granted,
we weren't going to.
We had to be 18 to open it, but we weren't going to open it. It was Uncle Poodle's Naughty Box. Explicit content contains full frontal male nudity. You must be 18 years of age to view. Back issues of Physique Pictorial magazine, dating from the 1940s through 1990s. Highly controversial for its time. And then the last thing it says, strangely enough, some models were assigned deliberately vague symbols to describe their anatomy, sexual habits, and susceptibility to prostitution. The secrecy of these codes was deemed necessary to prevent legal culpability. So we didn't open it.
Early gay porn. That's what it was.
Yep.
We didn't open it. But it's a nice little interesting historical footnote of weirdness, much like everything else in that store. There was also a sculpture, and I use the term sculpture very loosely, of a thing made out of animal intestines. Very strange. There'll be photos all throughout this.
Yep. So I definitely just wanted to bring that up. The owner of that store, actually, the owner was there, and then the guy that worked there, was talking to us about, we were like, why? And he was like, why not? And we were like, all right, cool.
Okay, cool. That's it. That's all. That's it.
But really nice guy. We definitely liked that store, so I definitely wanted to pop that into this video. We'll post a link to the store too, because you should check it out.
Yeah.
So we leave all there and on to day 3.
Day 3, we kick off at the Ram's Head with the band Blood. Now, this was kind of a one I wasn't sure if I knew or not, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is an unknown.
These guys were such a good time.
This is a grindcore band. They've been around since, I believe, the early 90s. They're from Germany. They are fiercely German. I love, like, thick accents, and the frontman kept his death metal growl on for everything he said. It was super entertaining, and God, the crowd fucking loved them.
Yep.
Like, these guys warmed over the crowd right away. I mean, of course, they were heavy as balls, and one of the few grind acts I think we saw in this entire thing.
Scour kind of counts. It kind of counts. Those are real short songs. That's kind of all over the map.
But they were great. They had an awesome set. The crowd absolutely fell in love with them.
Yeah.
They pretty much, and they were around like through the entire tour, just shaking hands, hanging out with everybody. Super nice guys. Awesome set. Like, I mean, if you love like early Napalm Death or like Nawesome and shit like that, check out Blood. They were really fucking good. I gotta find some of their stuff. Then we hung out at the Ram's Head a little bit longer because one band I had to see because I've been a fan of them for years, Brutality. Now, Brutality is one of the best kept secrets in the whole Tampa, Florida death metal scene. They are an awesome death metal band, and they always had one thing that stood out to me was the melodic, catchy lead work they always had.
Yep. After guitar solos made their way through on the first day, they kind of appeared more throughout. It's like the whole thing progressed. It got better as it went on, which is really weird sometimes for a 4-day long festival of death metal. But they scheduled everything really well. There was a really good flow to all 4 days. We didn't see the same thing twice except for Immolation, which was amazing.
That was awesome.
But I mean, outside of that, and had Vomitory been there, you wouldn't see the same thing twice, and it had a really good flow to it. And Brutality was next in line as far as how melodic they were, and
didn't sacrifice any brutality at all. Ha ha ha. They played a lot of stuff off of Screams of Anguish, which is an incredible album. They also even did their cover of Electric Funeral, which they made a death metal song flat out, but they still kept all those nice little melodic touches in that song too. Really solid set from them. I believe their rhythm guitarist, is it Scott Pritchard or Jason Pritchard? He used to be in a band called Eulogy way back. That was also kind of an underground band from the whole Florida death metal scene. And awesome job. Even traded off some leads, but most of the lead work was definitely done by their main guy. And like I said, they stand out as being very melodic, and that really set them apart, I think. Dual vocals, got the crowd going. The pits were fucking furious.
The pits were nonstop the whole time.
But on to the next band, which, my God, we were super excited about, especially when we heard who was going to be there.
Yep, right. So I didn't know anything about Scour prior to this tour, and
I did.
Like the day before we left, I decided I was just gonna roughly skim through the bands just to give us an idea of what venue we wanted to be at and what we didn't want to miss. And I skimmed over Scour, and I thought, some people in that picture look familiar. So I looked them up and saw that Adam Jarvis was their drummer, and I'm a huge Misery Index fan, and I've met Adam Jarvis before, a huge fan of that dude as well.
Super nice guy.
Really nice guy. I was on Instagram the day before we left, and I was trolling through, and I saw Adam Jarvis, whom I follow on Instagram. He said Phil Anselmo was going to be fronting the band, and so I looked it up and found out that Phil was actually a member of that band, and he just happened to be there for this show. Killer. Fuck, Phil, you'd never guess, is a phenomenal black metal vocalist.
Yeah. That was one of my surprises when I heard he was doing Scour. I was like, wow, Phil's going to do black metal. And I had to think back, one of the last times I saw Pantera was in 2000. I remember Morbid Angel opened up, and Phil came out and sang, I believe, Where the Slime Lived with them.
Yep.
And he was sporting a Dark Throne shirt. And that was one of my early exposures to that band. But I, was like, all right, he likes black metal. And finally he gets around to doing this stuff, and he's got really just gnarly black metal vocals. He also threw in some real deep death metal roars, too.
Yeah.
Like, he sounded great, and, looking good. I guess, he's doing well in life right now, and really engaged the crowd well, like, fully embraced everyone. It was,
and there was a Phil chant, I remember.
Lots of thank yous and everything. They even squeezed in a Bathory cover after ripping through an incredible set of their music, which is just intense.
They're short songs, but they're in your face, no doubt.
It's very black metal. It's like maybe touches of grind in there too, maybe a little bit of death metal. It's just abrasive as fuck. And then, of course, closing the set, decided to do a Pantera cover. Now the people yelling behind us thought they were going to do Slaughtered.
Yep.
Right album, wrong song. They did Strength Beyond Strength and fucking ripped it up. Phil fucked up the vocal, the lyrics, but who cares? It's like, I fucked up, and then let's just keep going. It's like, you guys can help me anyway.
Yeah, and it was super good. It was
awesome.
It was a awesome great cover. They didn't really nail a guitar solo, but whatever.
It was killer. I mean, it's black metal, so you got all the tremolo fucking melodies and everything in there. Like, I mean, it checked all the boxes for black metal, and it was great. The sound was fucking perfect, and Jarvis is a fucking machine.
I can't. I bet he had his drum shoes. If you're watching this, I want to know if you had your drum shoes. But yeah, man, that was a good time. And I think we stuck around.
We stuck
for
around
another
the Ram's Head. We had to stick around and check out Benediction. Now, Benediction is also fronted by the gentleman from Anal Nathrak.
Yes.
And once again, he was very engaging, had a lot of fucking fun. Benediction, one of the oldest death metal bands out there, too. They've been around since 88, 87, something like that.
I thought they said 89.
Maybe. I don't know.
It might have been earlier.
This is the band where Barney Greenway got his start before he joined Napalm Death. Awesome set, just great ripping old school death metal. They played a lot of familiar songs, at least for me, because I particularly love Transcend the Rubicon. It's a fucking amazing album.
And then there was I know that security here has a job to do, and that's great and all, but stage divers.
Yep.
Can we get stage divers, please?
You brought back the troll maneuver.
All about stage divers, man. And nobody tried it this time. But
I know. I think my
funny.
Security guards were pretty much on point this time. Like, no, you fucked with us last time.
Right. No, asshole.
But they had a great set. But they had like one little technical hiccup, and they explained like this is all rented equipment. So.
When the amp died.
Yep.
Yep.
But came right back to it, and just tore it up. Awesome fucking set. So finally, we decided to make our way over to the soundstage because there was a band I just had to see.
And this show was so fun. This was probably, as far as overall entertainment, and not, I mean, the band tore it up. The Mortician just fucking... Mortician.
We're playing on the soundstage, and I had to see him. I've been listening to him ever since I started picking up Relapse record samplers, and then I finally got Darkest Day of Horror not too long after I heard some of their shit. The fact they were a two-man band, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And it's all horror movie, slasher movie themed.
They had a drummer, though. They got a drummer to play. I don't know who he was. But...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to... You could barely see them underneath all the smoke. You'll see in the pictures. A lot of smoke.
So the crowd, because you couldn't really see the band, it was up to the crowd for the entertainment, I think. And again, let me state, the pits were just massive. And there were a ton of people in there for that. Ton of people. They were packed. It was asshole to elbow.
They have a huge following.
But somehow, and I don't know how they got them in. They got in 3 blow-up things. Device.
Blow-up dolls.
Blow-up dolls. Thank
Blow-up
you.
dolls. There were blow-up dolls in the pit. People,
One was an actual blow-up doll. Two were like blow-up skeletons.
I think there were 2 actual blow-up dolls. I think there was a man. I think it was a man and a woman. So.
And all you could see, because we were up a tier, you couldn't see the actual people. And so they just took it in the circle pit and were running around with it, and all you see is a blow-up doll going around the circle pit, and that was fucking hilarious.
Fucking hilarious, dude. Like, think about that chick getting dragged around in the opening of Jaws. Yeah, it was kind of like that, except people and blow-up dolls. It was fucking awesome. Mortician had such a great fucking set. I mean, you couldn't see them, but I know it was them. You know, like I said, a lot of fucking smoke.
Them.
And just absolutely killed it. After that, we had to beat feet a little bit early, just so we could catch a huge bucket list band for both of us, Deicide.
Yes, sir.
Deicide was fucking awesome.
They were amazing.
Like,
they were so heavy.
Dude, one of the heaviest bands that were there. They ripped through a ton of classics. Once Upon the Cross, Scars to Crucifix, Dead But Dreaming. Opened up with Dead by Dawn. Fucking shit up right away.
Yep.
I mean, it was an awesome
And the
set.
guitar tone was so heavy. It was so heavy.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
You know, Steve Ashim, once again, that dude is just a blast beat machine.
Yep.
Glenn was his usual charming self. I mean, I think when we got there, they were just done checking in, and they got on the mic like, yeah, we're fucking ready to go, man.
Yep.
It was like, all right, Glenn, way to warm over everyone. But, I mean, just fucking killing it.
It was
Just
killer. It was
killing
such
it.
a good way to end day 3.
I mean, I've been waiting a long time to see that band, and I had some worries because the last couple of Deicide albums, in my opinion, haven't been that great. A lot of dialing it in, maybe. But live performance, there's no slacking. They were all fucking in, and it was nasty. You know, close the set with Homage to Satan. Fucking loved that song. I mean, it was just nasty.
Yep.
Fucking loved it.
Yep.
But yeah, that concluded
Day 3.
day 3. My God, our fucking feet hurt. I think there was
Dude,
a
you've no idea.
fair amount of Subway eaten, and then rest.
Yep.
Then rest.
Yep.
And yeah, that will pretty much do it for day 3. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, sub. We do stuff like this all the time. Catch you later.
Peace.